Okay, morning everybody. Just to give you another update, next exam coming up, Medicine Germany, and I wanted to do basically 4 short ones on Germany, just as an overview of each section of the exam before we go into that one. So the first one is problems in Weimar Germany, 1919 to 33. Now it's important to get that concept that anything that they talk about in this period of time is going to be to do with problems that Germany faced. Now we start from the idea Germany in 1919, it's a new democracy. Previously it was a dictatorship led by the Kaiser, and if you wonder why I keep moving my mouth back, it's just eating a cereal bar, give me some energy to get through this. So it's a new democracy called the Weimar Republic in Weimar, which is part of Germany. And instantly it faces loads of problems, as you would expect, due to the aftermath of World War I and that's impact. So I just want to talk you through some of those. So first of all, we've got threats from, at the top here, we've got threats from the left and the right. Okay, now they come in the form of the Spartacist revolt. It's a communist threat to take over in Berlin. Now the Weimar government uses the Freikorps, or free soldiers, to put down the rebellion. Okay, and the other major attempt to take over in Berlin is what's called a Cat Putsch. That is a right-wing rebellion. Now the government uses the workers to put down this one, so in a roundabout way it uses the right to put down the left and the left to put down the right. Either way, it shows that the Weimar is weak and struggles to deal with its problems. Okay, so that's the first big problem in 1919. Now the second major problem is a massive one, and it's a lamb. Now, not an actual sheep. Lamb's not a major issue unless you are vegetarian or vegan. You wouldn't really fancy a lamb. But lamb is the way that we remember the Treaty of Versailles: land, army, money, blame. Now, Britain, France and America, being the main people at the Treaty of Versailles, decide that Germany, who has no representative at the Treaty of Versailles, is to blame for World War I. So that's the blame clause. Land, 13% is taken away. Places like Alsace-Lorraine. Army is restricted to 100,000 men only, no air force, limited navy. Money is the main one, a really major one, because it has lots of impacts on Germany to go from there. And so Germany's going to pay back 6.6 billion in reparations. Also, they're going to hand over cattle and sheep. Okay, so Treaty of Versailles, one of the biggest problems for Weimar Republic. It really sets it up badly before it's even begun. So major weakness there, and it sets up a lot of the other problems that happen after all the way up to 1933. So that's the Treaty of Versailles, a major one. Right, then we have other problems like the setup of the Weimar Republic. Now, Germany's never had democracy before. She used to have a Kaiser. Now, all of a sudden, you've got political parties and you've got politicians, and no one stands out. So what we end up in, I suppose, this is what this graph is all about, or this chart is all about, is to show that there's no clear winner. It's got parties to get lots of votes, but there's no one that stands out. So they end up with weak governments or coalition governments. Also, their voting system, which is very fair, it's called proportional representation, means seats equals votes, but it means that you never get a clear majority, which means you don't get one party or one person making decisions, and getting decisions passed through. Okay, so another major problem is the way that Weimar is set up. You can also use Article 48. So remember, Weimar has got the position of president as well as chancellor. And the president can overrule chancellor, and he can rule on his own at any point in time. Okay, moving on quickly. The next, so I'm going chronologically here as well, just in case you haven't noticed. So, after the Treaty of Versailles, the next major problem is the invasion of the Ruhr. Now, the invasion of the Ruhr is where the French decide that the Germans are not keeping up with reparations to the Treaty of Versailles, so they literally march in and seize control of factories. That creates a major issue, because obviously that is where Germany produces a lot of its coal and stuff like that. So the German workers refuse to work. It's called passive resistance. That creates a stalemate. The German government starts printing more and more money to pay the workers with, which then leads to what we know as hyperinflation. Okay, so in 1923, Germany's economy is really spiralling out of control. Now, enter Stresemann, and this is what we call 1924 to 29, the golden years of Weimar Republic. What Stresemann does, introduces a new currency, the Rentenmark, calls off passive resistance, and gets loans from America in the form of the Dawes and the Young Plan. So very quickly, we've got Germany's, looks like it's starting to recover. Although a lot of people see Stresemann as weak because he's dealt with the French. He's negotiated with the French rather than saying no. shove off. You're not getting your money back. So he's seen this weak in some quarters, and obviously he's reliant on American loans. Okay, right, we go from there, and this is where the trouble really comes. Now, if I talk about the two biggest weaknesses, the Wall Street crash is a major problem. Wall Street crash leaves somewhere in the region of 6 out of 10 people out of work, 4 million unemployed, 6 million unemployed. I can't remember which one it is exactly, but huge numbers of Germans out of a job. And that really is one of the reasons why the Nazis are able to gain popularity and support from there on in. All right, so those are the major reasons why the Weimar has problems. And some of the major reasons why Hitler rises to power are to do with the problems that occur, like Treaty of Versailles and like the Wall Street crash, as well as other things that Hitler does, which we'll discuss in another video. Okay, brilliant. Okay, thank you for listening.